Hola, hola mi gente. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Vanity B. If you're new here, welcome. If you're back again, welcome back. So today's topic is going to be on authenticity. And I wanted to make a quick video about this because I found it really interesting when I actually saw, I want to say it was a TED Talk, but I could be completely wrong. It was a video I had seen of a man talking about what was the highest frequency. And a lot of people would assume it was love, but he said authenticity is the highest form of frequency. And when I went down that little rabbit hole, it actually made a lot of sense. And the reason I say it made a lot of sense is because I realized authenticity is actually the new wave when it comes down to being, when it comes down to creating. Content creation is a form of creating, but just being. When it comes down to you stepping into your purpose, when it comes down to people creating jobs or choosing a job or what they want to do or who they want to show up as, authenticity will be the new wave. And the reason I believe this is because I want to say it started around the whole TikTok phase. When TikTok first started, we started seeing a lot more people going over to TikTok and leaving Instagram because it was just a form of, it was a platform where people could just get on there and just be whoever they wanted to be. They can create whatever they wanted to be. Not create whatever they wanted to be, but they were creating whatever they wanted to around the time when TikTok was actually fun. Those first couple months of just being quarantined and being on the app, we seen many creators just creating fun videos, and nobody really knew what to do with the platform. Nobody knew what to do to go viral. Nobody really knew what to do to create a niche or anything like that. People were just on the platform having fun, which was, I believe, the start of people just stepping into authenticity. Now we're seeing a little fuzz and a little blur when it comes down to a lot of content creators trying to rebrand themselves or be something that they're not, or copying other content creators. But I think that that's something that we're seeing a lot more now, but we're gonna start seeing that fade out. And the reason I say that is because when we're talking about people stepping into their authenticity, we're starting to see a lot more people breaking the barriers of being shy and actually showing who they are and showing up the way that they want to be seen and showing up the way that they like to see themselves. And the more that we're allowing space for that to happen, the more that we're going to see more people finding their audience. We're going to see a lot more people vibrating at a frequency that comes with flow and joy. When you are in the state of being too worried about what others think about you or what others are going to say about you, or not even that, in a state where you're copying others because you feel like, oh, this works for this person, so I'm going to do what they did. But then you find yourself doing something that you don't necessarily enjoy. That is going to be short-lived, and it's coming to an end with a lot of creators and a lot of people right now because it just doesn't work. When your passion, your joy, and your ultimate being is not aligned to the work that you are creating, there's always going to be resistance and there's going to be friction, and you're not going to see the success that you want. Not only that, if you do see the success that you want, imitating another creator or being somebody or something that you are not, it's going to be short-lived because you're gonna hit a plateau. You're gonna get tired of showing up as somebody that you're not, and you're gonna end up running out of ideas because we're going to start seeing a lot more of those creators phasing out, or those creators stepping into their authentic brand, and it's going to start shifting your brand, if that makes sense. So we can see these creators who do these picture perfect morning routines, or these picture perfect gym routines, or the aesthetic of a perfectly beautiful kitchen, but the whole time they're really renting an Airbnb to create this content. If they end up coming out and telling people the truth and like, this is really what my kitchen looks like, or this is really what my morning routine looks like, I promise you they'll probably lose some followers because they're like, damn, you've been lying this whole time. But then they're gonna gain followers who are like, you know what, I relate to this a lot more. Your people are gonna find you. But not only that, it's sort of like a weight is lifted off your shoulder when you can be who you've always wanted to be, when you can be authentic and you can create from an authentic space. That is going to be the wave within the next 2 to 5 years, that we're going to see people making the most money that they've ever made, or creating jobs or careers or brands from a space that is just flowing because they are stepping into what they're passionate about. I was talking earlier about how this made me think about somebody who said a person who is in power is not the person who walks into the room and is intimidating and tries to show their assertiveness or their dominance with, a mean mug or this type of energy that is very dominating. It's more so the person who's playful. When a person is playful and that they feel safe enough to be playful in a space, that shows control, that shows power, because they're not worried about something that they can't control. They already know they're in control and they can let their guard down and just be happy and joyful and peaceful because they already are in control. That's the same thing when it comes down to authenticity. When you're authentic, you don't have to go off of a script. You don't have to pretend to wear a certain outfit a certain way or do your routine a certain way because you can't fully remember how another content creator did it, or you feel like you're going to be judged because something's not perfect. When you're creating from a authentic space, you're going to flow much more naturally because you're not thinking twice about it. You're just going to be in that flow state. You're just going to do because this is what you enjoy doing. And for you to get to that space, you have to break down those barriers of caring about what others think, caring about the opinion of others or the opinion of your family members or friends, or even sitting there and actually asking yourself, what do I genuinely enjoy? What are hobbies or what are interests of mine that are genuinely mine, not interests or hobbies that were influenced by other people and I felt like I should do them because another person did them, but something I genuinely enjoy talking about or doing, or something that I am authentically good at. That's gonna be your flow state. That's gonna be where the most success is gonna come from. Authenticity is going to be your highest commodity in this new timeline shift. We're seeing it. We're seeing people switching up. We're seeing more people speaking out and creating, even if it doesn't make sense to us. We're seeing them finding their audience, finding their niche, finding their people, because they are vibrating in that frequency. They are vibrating from that authentic space, and it just naturally flows to them. For you to be in that authentic space, you have to reflect back on yourself and look at yourself like, what do I do or what am I involved in that really isn't myself, that isn't me, that isn't something that I truly enjoy? Now, one of the main things that I really feel like will get you started is, what do you say yes to that you really want to say no to? And what do you say no to that you really want to say yes to? That is a form of taking your power back. I made a video years ago on that, but that's a good start to understanding if you're being authentic to yourself. Are you saying yes to the things you want to say yes to, or are you saying no to the things that you really want to say yes to? Or did I say that the correct way? Are you saying yes to the things that you want to say yes to but are saying no? Let me reset. Are you saying no to things that you want to say yes to? Are you saying yes to things you want to say no to? Start switching that up and start saying no to the things you want to say no to, and start saying yes to the things that you want to say yes to. And not only that, start looking at your style. Start looking at the things that you're engaging in, the way that you show yourself to the world, how you do your hair, how you do your makeup, how you dress, and how you feel your best. These are little things that you can control on a day-to-day basis that take no effort at all, but can start giving you feedback on, am I being authentic? Am I being myself? Or when you're in spaces with other people, that just really pay attention to the spaces and the things that you're engaging in. Do you feel safe? Do you feel comfortable there? Do you feel like you belong there? Do you feel like you flow naturally there when the conversations are being had or when ideas are being presented, even if it comes down to careers? When you're in your career path, do you feel like you are being fulfilled? Do you feel like you are following your purpose? Do you feel like when you show up to work every single day that you are genuinely adding value to the world because you're in what you've always wanted to be in? Or is it time to evaluate that and make some changes in your life? We have the ability to do these things. But like I said, the moment that you allow those barriers to be let down and allow yourself to just make a good evaluation of all aspects of your life and see, is this really me? And start tweaking, you're going to start seeing more opportunities coming into your life. You're going to start seeing, not even, forget the opportunities for a moment. You're going to just start seeing a different sense of being about yourself and how you hold yourself and how you feel on a day-to-day basis when you're doing the things that you're genuinely passionate about, when you're doing the things that you have the knowledge and the intellect to actually do. When you're sitting there doing things, or like you're in law school or medical school, and you have no interest in it, but you're doing it because you're trying to appease other people, family members, spouses, whatever it may be, really evaluate, what is it that you genuinely want to do? What is it that you're actually passionate about and that you're actually good at? You may think that there's not a niche out there or there's an audience for it, but the moment that you allow yourself to just create, just be in that creative flow, you're gonna see those doors opening, because again, there's not gonna be resistance. There's not gonna be a nudge within you that's telling you, no, you really shouldn't be doing this, or you really need to do it this way. You just create, those opportunities flow in. That's called the flow state. That is called the flow state for a reason, because things flow. You're not thinking twice about it. You're just being, you're just creating. That's where we're heading. That is going to be your highest commodity amongst all things that you do. If you can just break the barriers of imitating others, if you can break the barriers of being programmed by others and actually knowing thyself and being thyself and doing what you love, I promise you, that is the start of authenticity. That is the start of you being authentically yourself. And that is the start of your journey where you're going to start seeing things coming in and more fruits are going to be presenting in your life. You may have a lot more blockages in the things that you're trying to do and in the things that you're trying to cultivate, because it probably isn't something that you're meant to do. And more than likely, it's probably something that you don't enjoy doing. That's why they say the journey is everything. If you're on a journey creating something, cultivating something, trying to get to an end point, however, you know that end point is something that you're genuinely passionate about and that you want to do and you love doing, the journey is going to be effortless. It's going to be all those little milestones in the journey that's going to make it way, way worthwhile in the end. But if you're heading there and that's not where you want to be, the journey is going to be miserable. You're going to hate every little bit of it, and you're not even going to have the momentum to keep up. That's why so many people, you see them doing other things over and over. Me, I'm one of those people who I have my foot in everything, and it wasn't because I was influenced. I genuinely just wanted to know what I like. If I like something, I would go ahead and do it. If I genuinely had an interest in something, if I didn't think it would be a career, or I didn't think it would be something that I would put a lot of time into, I would still go ahead and do it, because you don't know yourself until you try new things, until you step out of your box, until you start exploring and saying, how does this feel for me? How do I feel when I'm engaging in this? Or how do I feel when I'm talking about this? Or how do I feel when I'm learning about this? Does it spark that joy? Does it light me up inside? Or are you in spaces where you feel like, because I have to survive, I'm just going to go ahead and just continue to do this? That is the easiest way to really just kill purpose. When you're just doing something based off of survival and because you're told to do it. But the moment that you allow yourself to step out of that fear and have faith that whatever you choose to do is going to prosper, and allow yourself to be in that flow state and just enjoy doing it from your authentic self and showing the world what you have to offer, I promise you, you're going to see changes. You're going to see a shift in your environment, in the atmosphere, in the opportunities that come your way. But I say all that to say, where we're shifting and where we're going to see a lot more content creators and a lot more people heading is towards authenticity, authentic content, authentic careers, authentic life paths. because that is where that's where the wealth is going to be. It's going to be the highest commodity that you could possibly tap into. And right now we're seeing a lot more people tapping into that. And if you're having just questions or doubts on how to tap into that authenticity within you, start asking yourself those small questions and start making adjustments. And also start remembering, this is your life. Nobody else can tell you how to live your life. Nobody else can tell you what path to take. You may have some downfalls and you may have some obstacles that you have to overcome as you're navigating life, but ultimately the decision is up to you which path you're going to take and what hurdles you're willing to take if you want the end result to be something that is beneficial and something that sparks that joy and allows you to know, I am in my purpose. I'm doing what I was meant to do, and I'm happy with the life I've created for myself. Other than that, you're going to be sad. You're always going to look back like, damn, I should have taken that route instead of going to school for this degree, and I don't even enjoy the career I'm in. But the whole time that you were in school studying for that degree, there was a little voice inside your head that said, this isn't it. This isn't it. Take this route instead. And yet you decided to ignore it because you wanted to follow the path that everybody else was following, or that everybody else was telling you was the successful path or the only path, and you're stuck doing something you don't like. Authenticity will always align you to the people that are meant to be in your life, to find your audience if you're gonna be doing content creation, or if you're gonna start a business. There's lots of people who don't start businesses because they think that there's nobody out there who will support them. Yet there's a whole niche of people who would support them. They just never gave themselves a chance to be exposed. Step out of that this year. If you can understand how energy works and understand how the universe and how God and the unseen realm responds to you when you start changing that frequency within you, and how you start moving, it starts aligning. That's all you need to start. Literally all you need to start. But stop imitating others. Stop copying others. Stop putting yourself in a box because you think that that is the only way. That is the complete opposite to being authentic. Be who you're meant to be. I don't care how weird you are. I don't care how weird of a niche you're into. There's an audience for every niche out there. But the moment that you allow yourself to be who you're meant to be, you're going to align. And not only that, you're gonna feel so much better. You're gonna feel so much happier when you step out of that. One thing, I've never stood in a space where I didn't want to be at too much longer. I've never, I think the most I've ever stood at a job was maybe 3 years before, as soon as I wake up and I find myself daydreaming about leaving a job, I know it's time to transition to the next step. I think I value freedom more than validation, more than anything. I value the freedom to think how I want to think. I value the freedom to move how I want to move. I value the freedom to express and do and create whatever I want whenever I want and not feel bad about it. I don't care how many people say, oh, you don't know what kind of career path you want to do. People used to tell me that all the time because I would be into one thing and then the next thing and then the next thing. I'm just getting started with understanding what is possible in life. And I think that's the deal for most young people. But if you are head on and know that you're meant to do something, but you're afraid to do it, go ahead and do it. Step into your authentic path and see how many doors open up for you. And don't care what others say, and don't care about what you're seeing on the outside until it fully materializes. It does not matter what you go after. The more that you focus on it, the more that you pour into it, the more that you cultivate it, I promise you it will materialize in the physical. Just go for it and stop following the herd. Be who you were meant to be. But I'm gonna end the video there. And if you're new here, please subscribe. If you like the content, share, hit that bell notification, and I'll see you next time.